asking. Okay, so Frank, Anton told us that he's not good. He's not he's not good at fixing things, right? So he's not the handyman of the house. But okay, so Frank, Anton told us that he is. Yeah, that's what I wanted to avoid. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure that I do something here. Cool. Sorry about this, Frank. Now I won't get distracted any longer. Frank, Anton told us that he was not the handyman of the house, right? That he's not good at fixing things. Are you the handyman of the house?
Oh, I don't think so. My older brother is the handyman in the house, but sometimes I help him doing stuff in the house.
Doing stuff around the house.
Okay, doing stuff around the house.
Cool, man. Cool, man. So just a few questions for the two of you, and tell me if you guys are able to do this if you have to, right? And don't feel bad if you can't, because I don't think I could do these without seeing a few YouTube tutorials before doing it, right? So can you change a socket? Can you change a socket? A light switch? And like I said, I may need to watch some YouTube tutorials to do this on my own, so don't feel bad if you can't do it, guys. Fix a faucet. Can you do any of these three things? Anton, Frank first.
Okay, the socket, I think I would be able to do the problems. A switch, maybe taking care of or turning off all the electricity power in the house.
Sure. Okay. So changing a light switch is just the switch on the wall, right? What you're talking about is the breaker system.
Okay, okay. And I don't really know what is a faucet. What a faucet is.
Do you know, Anton, what a faucet is?
Sure, it's the thing you use to get water from the kitchen, right?
Exactly. So it's what you open up to wash your hands, to get some
Oh,
water.
yeah.
Can you change one, Frank?
Um, yeah, I think I'm able.
Okay. Okay, cool. How about you, Anton? These three things, do you think you'd be able to do these if you needed to?
To be honest, I think I could, but I'm not into it. I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I rather call someone else to do it, and so for me, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point, man. That's a very good point. I'm sure there are things that we could do, but it's just better to have somebody else do it. Yeah, yeah. I understand exactly where you're coming from, man. It's just, especially for someone like me, if you're the same, having to watch YouTube tutorials, making sure you're not messing up, it can be very frustrating and stressful, and it's just better to have someone do it, right? Cool, man. So back to you, Anton, and then we'll talk to, let's see who just came in. Marcela, we'll ask Marcela next. Hey, Marcela, nice of you to come. Anton, does your house suffer from dampness?
I'm not sure what that means, sir.
It's all right, man. Do you know anyone with a damp house? So does your house suffer from dampness? Do you know anyone with a damp house? A damp house is deterioration on the walls because of humidity leaking through. Does this make sense, Anton?
Oh, yes, yes. In that case, yes, totally. I live on the ground floor, so yes. Usually houses in Lima, here in Lima, because of humidity, they suffer from this, from dampness.
Dampness. Good job. Dampness. Cool, man. Cool. Frank, how about you? Do houses suffer from dampness where you live?
Yes, yeah. I think in during all these months, we have problems with rains because of the humidity, right?
Yeah. Humidity, yes.
Yeah, with the humidity, and it is like all days are raining. Or how do you say when it is not raining? Well, when it is raining, but too slow or just a little.
Uh, a light rain.
A light rain. Well,
A
every
light
day
rain.
in this season we have light rains every day, so we have problems with humidity.
There you go, man. And only one thing, Frank, good job. During all these months, it's okay, right? But you can also say during these last few months. Yeah, during these last few months, it's been raining not nonstop. And you know what? We're having the same weather out here in Cali, Colombia. It's been raining nonstop, nonstop. Cool. Over to you, Marcela. Thank you for coming. Question: do you go all out? Do you go all out when decorating?
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Marcela, or do you keep it simple? Do you go all out when decorating, or do you keep it simple?
I would say it depends on the celebration. For example, if I'm celebrating my birthday or somebody else's birthday, I go all out. But
Nice.
because to me and to my family, birthdays are like very special. But if we have any other celebration, I keep it simple.
There you go. There you go. And how about the decoration? Yeah, the long-term decoration that you may have in your home. Is this uh, also simple, or do you try to decorate?
Oh, no, I keep it simple. I don't like to have a lot of stuff because then I'll have more things to clean. So simple.
That's very smart. That's very smart. Very good. Cool. Thank you, Marcela. Let's see, guys. That was it. That was it. As far as the house vocabulary, now we're going to embark on a very interesting topic that I think will may get some conversation. We're going to talk about protests, guys. Protests. Yeah. Now look, let's start with you, Frank. Do you see a lot of protests in your country?
Um, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I do. Well, in the region where I live, we people do a lot of protests when they
Protests.
protests. Okay, they do a lot of protests because they are inconformes. How would you say?
They are dissatisfied.
Dissatisfied with the government, maybe.
Yeah. Dissatisfied. Yeah, they are dissatisfied with the government. Cool, man.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and then take the roads, or how can I say this? They uh block the roads,
Yeah. They block
the
the roads. They
highways.
block the roads. They block the roads. They block the highways. Yeah. You can also say this is what you're saying is perfect, Frank. But you can also talk about setting up roadblocks or barricades, right? Roadblocks is more common, but barricades is similar to Spanish. But yeah, they block the roads. They set up roadblocks, barricades.
Okay,
Cool, man.
thank you.
Go ahead, Frank.
No, thank you.
You're welcome, man. Cool. Anton, question for you. Um, where in your town or your city, sorry, man, when there are protests, where are they usually staged? Where are they staged?
Well, whenever there are protests in my city, they usually people usually go people usually go downtown.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, we could talk about where they staged, where they held. Yeah. And Anton, most most protests non-violent?
Um, in general, yes, because usually people who protest are young people, so people who are on their 20s, so university students. So yeah, unless you're talking about what happens in province in my country, in those cases, yeah, yeah, it tends to get more violent.
Okay, man. And if they turn violent, how are they handled? If
Well,
they are, if they turn, not if they are, if they turn violent, how are they handled?
well, the police come and then they start well, they start not telling people, but they start pushing people or forcing people to leave the area.
There you go. There you go. And there's a word for this, right? They try to
Exactly.
disperse the crowd, disperse the people. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool, man. Cool. Marcela, your turn. Let me see what I can ask you. Yeah. So I kind of asked Anton this question, but maybe you can give me some different information, right? Um, mm, okay. So let me ask you this: does the government use violence to suppress the protesters?
Unfortunately, yeah, sometimes they do. Um, Many of them probably they don't. I don't know if this is correctly said, but they don't measure the violence they use with civilians because they only care about dispersing people and they don't care about being careful with their actions.
Yeah, and you know what? They don't measure their violence. I don't know. Maybe, but you know what we can use? It's very similar, right? They use unmeasured violence, right? So they don't measure their violence. It's unmeasured violence. Yeah. Um, and this is for the sake of vocabulary, Marcela. Um, what kind of how? How do they subdue the crowd? So I've used suppress, and subdue is very similar to suppress, right? It's just but to suppress by force, right? To force someone to stop. Yeah. How do they subdue the crowd?
They usually they have tanks
Good, good, good,
and
good. Water
they,
tanks.
yes, water tanks
Cool.
and some special gases.
There you go. That's where I wanted to get to. Tear gas. They use tear gas. Yes.
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool. Do they impose curfews?
Curfews is when you can go out after a certain time at night.
Exactly. That's exactly what it means. Do they impose curfews?
That's an extreme action, but yes, I would say rarely, but they do.
Cool, cool. And when you say extreme, very good, Marcela. And you can just talk about maybe in extreme cases. Yes.
Okay, yeah, in extreme
Yeah.
case.
There you go. There you go. Cool. Mr. Frank. Yeah. No, it's Anton's turn. Mr. Anton. Um, and Frank, I believe we used this. I know that we used this word in a previous class, but Mr. Anton, what are some reasons that spark these protests?
Uh, well, some of the reasons are, for instance, in my country, the mining, the problem.
The
This
what?
is
The what?
one of
Anton?
the mining problem. Because we have mines
Okay.
in my
Yeah, yeah,
country,
yeah.
and they pollute the water. So that is one of the reasons that which that is one of the reasons we have these protests. Another reason maybe the fact that we for example, speaking of doctors, for instance, doctors, nurses, they don't earn enough. So that is another reason why they protest.
They protest for wages, for better salaries.
Exactly.
Cool, man. Okay, cool. And Frank, in your city, are protests sparked? Do they spark for similar reasons, or are there other reasons why people protest?
Maybe more Mexican reasons. Uh, Maybe because the mayor has stolen the budget city, or the local government has, I don't know. Yeah, same reasons. Budget for things about the budget of the government, local government. Maybe they stole the budget, or maybe they
They
have,
have.
sorry, they have. I was going to say something else.
It's okay, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But basically, it's for that reason,
Cool, man. And when you said Mexican reasons,
because they stole money that is from for people.
they stole money that belongs to the people. Yeah. And Frank, when you talked about Mexican reasons, we can express the same idea maybe this way: reasons unique to Mexico. Yeah. Instead of saying Mexican reasons, just reasons that are unique to Mexico that maybe you will not see them in other places, right?
Okay.
Cool, man. Marcela, have any of these protests, and where are you from, Marcela, by the way?
I'm
Please.
from Colombia,
Cool. What part?
from Bogota.
Oh, okay. I live in Cali. I live in Cali. Marcela, when there are protests, do some of them erupt into riots? Have any of them erupted into riots?
Yeah, for example, I remember I studied at a public university.
I studied at. Cool.
Yes, and we as students were used to these riots, used to have these riots.
These riots. Good job. That we used to have.
And I think in general they do, because there are many students who support riots, for example, in the city. So they are used to erupt riots.
Okay, so here maybe don't say they are used to. Maybe talk about we are used to riots erupting. Yeah.
Okay.
Or we are used to having riots every once in a while. Yeah. But maybe we could talk to us to in this situation as we. Yes, we people from Bogota, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Right.
Cool. And Marcela, when this happens, have business owners ever been looted? When it scales to riots, are business owners looted? Thank you, Katia.
I'm not sure about the word looted. When they
Cool.
go take things from stores, I guess.
That's exactly what looting means. Yes.
Not really. Probably they would break some windows, or they would write graffitis on the walls, but not many people rob. They maybe damage or vandalize.
Yeah, good word. Vandalize. They damage, they vandalize property. Cool. Good job. And good job, because that's what I was going to suggest for you to use, vandalize. Good job, Marcela. Cool. Back over to Mr. Anton. Okay, so Frank, at the beginning of the class he talked about that in Mexico people set up roadblocks, and I wanted to ask you this as well because it's a question that I had written up in this class. When a protest turns into a riot, what's your question, Frank? I'm not understanding it. Um,
Yeah, when a protest turns into a riot, like what is the thing that makes a riot?
I
what
would
do you
say
mean? What?
the riot is violent and the protest is the pacific. People just walk, and in the
Yeah,
riot they
Okay.
throw stones or things like that.
good job, Marcela. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So protest is usually non-violent, and once it turns violent, then it could be considered a riot. Yeah, Frank. Cool, buddy. So let me just maybe we'll. Okay, so Mr. Anton, Frank told us that in Mexico it's common for people to set up roadblocks. Does this happen in your city when there are protests? Do people set up roadblocks, barricades?
Yes, of course, it happens. Not in the city though, but in provinces, yes. But in the city, it hardly ever happens.
Cool, man. And when it does happen, and you see these roadblocks, does the city collapse?
Not really, because it's in a specific part of the city, so it doesn't prevent people from, for example, going to school or going to their jobs. So,
Cool, man.
mhm.
Cool, cool, cool. And you can use this word as well. It doesn't prevent people from commuting to school, commuting to work. Do you understand this word, Anton?
Yes, sir. Commuting is going to work or going to school.
Yeah, it's just a common journey, a common trip that you do daily. Yeah, or almost daily, but very regularly. Yeah, cool. And maybe we can stick to this question for a while, and we'll go around asking all of the students. Let's go with Frank first. Do government officials, Frank, do government officials try to iron out? Do they try to iron out differences with the people?
Uh,
What does this mean, to iron
try
out
try
differences?
iron out, maybe try to help them dealing with the problem.
Exactly. Think of, where does iron out come from? Sorry, guys. It comes from a wrinkled shirt, right? If it's wrinkled, then it's going to be a problem. So it's better to iron this out. Yes. And the same is applied to differences, right? Let's iron out these differences. Let's settle them. Let's resolve them. So does this happen? Do they reach agreements when people protest? Are agreements reached?
Well, sometimes the federal government talk with the protesters,
Protesters, good job. Good job, man.
and sometimes the Mexican president talk to them, or the government of the state, but they have the same problem again and again and again. Since I have memory, they block. They take the road, so maybe they don't iron out difference pretty well.
Good, good, good. And buddy, since I have memory, that's very, very Spanish. Since I could remember. Since I could remember, this has happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, Frank. So same question. Let's go over to Anton, and then we'll go with Marcela. When these protests happen, do government officials iron out differences? Do they try to reach agreements with the people? Anton.
Yes, I do. Unfortunately, don't always manage to. But that is usually what happens here in my country. They usually try to get an agreement, but sometimes
Reach.
it doesn't work. Exactly, they try to reach an agreement, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Uh-huh.
Cool, man. Cool, man. Thank you, Anton. How is working this class? What do you mean, Laura? I'm not quite following your question. Marcela, same question for you. Do you see that these issues are solved, that they're ironed out, that they reach agreements? What do you think?
No, I wish I could say the same as Anton and Frank, because
Mm.
here in Colombia, our president, I remember not long ago, like, I don't remember, but not long ago, there was a protest from some indigenous people.
There was some from educators, teacher protests.
Yeah, but they were indigenous.
Indigenous protests.
Right. And the president didn't listen to them. So they had to come to Bogota to the Casa de Nariño, the place where the president lives. And
Mhm.
that was the only way that he listened to them, because he practically ignored them. So I think that it depends. If it's convenient for the government, they would listen and they would try to do something. If not, they pretend that they listen, but they actually don't.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember that situation too, Marcela. Thank you for sharing. Guys, this is the last go around of questions, and maybe we will ask the same one to or maybe not. Let's go with Frank. Frank, is boycotting a good way to protest?
Um,
Do you think
well,
it's effective?
I think so, but I don't. I don't think that it would be efficient or a good way to do it. I don't know. Mm, I think that you can get better.
Results?
Yeah, results. I was looking for that word. In my mind. You can better results if you do it in another way.
Yeah. What way would that be, Frank?
Uh, depending on why you are boycotting, there are many instances where you can go.
Right. Like maybe government entities to complain there. Is that what you're referring to, maybe, Frank?
Yeah.
Got you. Got you, man. Cool. Anton, this is the last round. Oh, I'll ask Marcela, and we're done for today. Is there anything that you feel is worth protesting for in your country currently?
Of course,
What is-
I think that it was protesting on, for instance, the fact that students or students with low resources may have access to university
Cool, man.
because some of them do not have the chance because they don't have the money to do so.
Cool. Thank you, Anton. Marcela, you're the last question. Same question. What do you feel is worth protesting for in your city, in your country?
I completely agree with the guy was talking before, education, and also health services, because,
Cool.
for example, lately there has been a lot of laws that are not benefiting people. They are
Benefiting.
benefiting people.
Well,
Yeah.
there have been a lot of laws passed that don't benefit people.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Guys, we're finished. We finished a few minutes early, 5 minutes early. Let me know if you guys have any questions. In fact, here protesters have by look to carry out the protest. Yeah, I think a lot of countries do this, right? You can't protest just because you need to. Protests are recognized by law, but you still have to get permission from the government to make sure that roads have the proper access. I believe that's why they do it. Cool, guys. Do you have any questions? You're welcome, Anton. Thank you guys for coming.
Well, thank you so
Guys-
much, teacher.
Cool, cool. If
Thank
there
you.
aren't any, you're very welcome, guys. So, guys, this is the last class of the week. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you. We will see you next week.